So we've spent quite a bit of time and effort reading through a textbook which has introduced us to some interesting concepts: race and ethnicity, minorities, the idea of assimilation, of incorporation, acculturation, multiculturalism, transnationalism. So what we're going to do very briefly is we're just going to be walking through a few infographics which provide us a bit of analysis of multiculturalism, of ethnic diversity in the EU, and this will be a way of us we'll be encountering the concepts that we've been learning about, but this will be hopefully an exercise where by the end of it, you will see, actually, I have a clear idea what people mean when they use words such as this. So let's go into full screen now, and we'll do that together. Okay, so despite what many may think, the European Union, the EU, has 87 specific peoples, ethnic groups, and this is based on research in 2008, and that there are 60 million people, citizens of EU countries from ethnic and religious minorities, and that is 12% of the total population of Europe in 2014. There are a number of types of minorities, and again, this is an exercise in us reinforcing what we have just learnt over the last few sessions. There are national minorities, national groups who live in the territory of one state, and so here are some examples: Greeks and Turks in Cyprus, Albanians in Kosovo. There are also transnational minorities, an ethnic group whose homeland stretches across different states, but do not form a nation in any one of them. Examples of these, we've talked about the Basques and the Catalans in both Spain and France. There are immigrant minorities, and these are recent immigrants who often have not been given full citizenship. And the main examples of those are North Africans in France and Turkish guest workers in Germany. And then there are indigenous minorities. These are ethnic groups living in their ancestral homelands in only one state, but do not form a nation. Remember, there's a difference between a nation and the state. You can be a state, but do not have a nation. So there are many examples of those. And if you are familiar with the United Kingdom, the Scottish, the Irish, the Cornish, the Welsh are some common examples. So what are the countries with the largest minority population? So here we have in Latvia, 28% of Latvians are Russian. In Spain, we have a similarly large number. In Luxembourg, there are 23% of the total population which are minorities, and the largest is the Portuguese. And in the UK, there are 20% of the UK who are minorities, and the largest are Scots. So let's go straight on to the next infographic, and this is a graphic again about Europe, And the question is, how can Europe better integrate immigrants? Immigration and integration. Immigration and integration. And so discrimination. At the moment, discrimination is based on ethnic origin. So here are the percentages of total population. So in less than 2.5% were affected in Denmark, Greece, Lithuania, Malta, Slovenia, and Sweden. 3% of EU citizens suffered from discrimination in the past, discrimination based on ethnic origin. And these percentages are higher in Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Cyprus, France, Hungary, Italy, Luxembourg, Romania, and the UK. So what do migrants think? 80 to 95% of migrants are or want to become long-term residents. Okay, they want to become long-term residents. And migrants say they highly value language courses. And the other opinion is that citizenship makes migrants feel more settled. It allows them to get better jobs, and they can become more involved in their local communities. International marriages. International marriages are most common in Scandinavia, the Netherlands and France, where people, ethnic minorities, marry EU citizens, and they are less common in Italy, Spain, and southeastern Europe. Segregation. There are a range of models of segregation. So in Sweden, in 2011, Sweden established a quota for distributing asylum seekers in its municipalities. In France, there were 717 sensitive urban zones, mostly in suburbs of large cities, and that in these sensitive urban zones, 36 were below the poverty line, 50% of the inhabitants were foreign origin, and there was twice the national percentage of unemployment. And so there is interesting statistics on government spending on language courses. In the Netherlands, it is the highest, with the Netherlands government spending €440 million on language courses. Denmark follows that with 241, and Germany is after that as well. And so, yeah, so I hope that you've enjoyed practicing these new terms that we've been introducing you to. And why don't you take a bit of time off now before we head into our next round of videos. See you again.